Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today is the 15th of April 2022. Before we get into it, the usual opening request for a favour, please, and that's if you would subscribe to the channel. That would be marvellous and appreciated. Every subscriber helps us grow, so please subscribe if you would. Right, okie doke. Today we're looking at a band called Tempest. Now, this goes back to the early 1970s, and if you remember those days like I do, Jon Hiseman, excellent drummer, he was in a band, sort of a jazz rock fusion-y bandy type thing, Colosseum, who were excellent. Colosseum split around about the turn of the 70s. Hiseman put Tempest together as a new project. And they only did 2 albums before they disappeared as well. But what a couple of albums they were. They really were. Excellent couple of albums. The first one, self-titled, 1973. The lineup Hiseman put together was himself, Matt Clark on bass, Paul Williams vocals and keys, and the brilliant Alan Holdsworth on guitar. I mean, that's a mark of quality on its own, isn't it? Alan Holdsworth. What an album that debut is, that self-titled debut. Great album of sort of progressive, jazzy, hard rock. As you'd expect, Holdsworth's all over it. Blazing guitar skills, flourishes. The man did it all, didn't he? What a player. And another, as you'd expect, is Hiseman's drumming. Brilliant, free-flowing, fluid, jazzy, hard, punchy. The man's got it all. Matt Clark's bass, precise, and Paul Williams' vocals are kind of like powerful and soulful. So that self-titled debut from Tempest, really strong. Listen to stuff like Gorgon, Dark House, Brooding Affair, and everything else makes for such a strong listen. All well composed, performed, progressive, jazzy rock. Surely, with a debut album as good as that, Tempest had it made, didn't they? Well. There's another tale, isn't there? Despite critical praise and plenty of it, the album wasn't a huge commercial success, but there was enough to go for a second album. That came out a year later in 1974, titled Living in Fear. There was a revised lineup. Williams and Holdsworth had gone, and in came the brilliant Ollie Halsel on guitar. And he also sang and does moogs and synths and whatnot. Now, I'm a huge admirer of Halsel. I think that the man was such a guitar player and didn't fulfill his potential. Check out his stuff in Boxer, for example, and Pato as well. But here, he's all over it. Effortless riffing, shredding to the max. He doesn't overplay. It's all so well done. The synths that he brings to it add plenty to it, all at the right time in the right way to complement the guitar and bring a new dimension to it. Clark's bass, like on the debut, very precise, locks in with Hiseman's drumming. Living in Fear, is in my opinion a stronger album to the debut. It's a bit more straightforward, I suppose, a bit more harder overall. Funeral Empire rocks. Stargazer 2 been a little bit trippy. Dance to My Tune is an excellent 7-minuter. Got a bit of everything in there. It swings from sort of like style to style effortlessly. It's a bit jazzy, it's a bit rocky, it's a bit full on. Halsel's all over it. Marvelous stuff. The only downside on Living in Fear is for me it's just a little bit of a pet hate, I suppose. I'm not a big fan of cover versions, and they do a cover of the Beatles' Paperback Writer. Doesn't work for me, but the rest of it more than makes up for it. It's that good. Unfortunately, Living in Fear didn't sell too well either, and that was the end of the line for Tempest, 2 and out. Such a pity, as both albums are so good. They still sound fresh around 50 years later, and of course you've got 2 of the finest guitar players there ever were in this genre of music, in Alan Holdsworth and Ollie Halsel. If you're an old prog fan like me, you'll love it. Or if you don't remember it from the old days, rediscover it. Or if you just like proper good proggy, hard, slightly jazzy rock, you'll love it as well. Don't let Tempest pass you by, is what I'm saying. They are fine albums, both of them. I'll put links in the description below to both albums on Amazon, so you can go and check them out. Please do. I'm sure you'd enjoy them. So do that. Also, before you go, a little reminder, please subscribe before you go to the channel. That'd be marvellous. And of course, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.